Well, hello everyone. This is Chrystal Lynn, Cowgirl Astrologer, and I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. Today, I would just like to do an update of what's going on up in the sky astrologically. Just kind of get the weather, get the energy, what's happening. I really believe that that's one of the greatest tools of astrology is kind of being able to understand what's happening. Often, when we're going through really intense astrological changes, we can feel them down here on Earth, but if we don't understand what's going on, we can really get caught into almost this, washing machine vortex. And for a lot of people, and that can, manifest in things such as depression, confusion, having the fog, just feeling, no hope, because we're not comfortable with the energetic changes. But if we understand the energetic changes, we can really get in touch with them and make the best out of them. So today I'm going to talk about what's going on in the sky. So today, as we speak, Neptune, which is my favorite planet to talk about, is moving direct. It has been retrograde in Pisces for the last 6 months. And it's the last couple of weeks, we've been in this process of what's called stationary. It's the shadow as it moves into this actual cusp of then moving direct. So in this process, we've seen what's going on out there in the world. And we've seen many, many people, really just going crazy. Okay, just losing it, totally losing it. Well, Neptune has a lot to do with that, bringing out this side of us. When you look at Neptune in Pisces, which is the homeland, it's taken 165 years for Pisces to come full circle back to its home. And we are in this amazing astrological epic event in our lifetime. We'll never see it again. Our children may never see it again. So in 2012, after 165 years, Neptune moved into Pisces. It's a 14-year transit. So children that are born during this 14-year period are the healers, will be the healers of the future, the spiritual gurus, the teachers, helping us heal from years and years and years of conditioning. And that's what's going on right now, you guys. And a lot of people are messaging me and inquiring, especially talking about relationships and old patterns and toxic relationships. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. There's some things going on. First of all, we know we're at the tail end of Scorpio season. So I hope you guys have all done well. Scorpio season is all about, the end of the summer, end of fall, that fall period. And then we start to kind of go deeper. We start to get a little more like hermits, or we start to, plan for the holidays. We're planning and we're planning things behind the scenes. Okay. Today, as I speak, the moon is in Cancer, so it's a very watery energy. The sun in Scorpio, moon in Cancer. Okay. So we have a lot of deep emotions coming up right now, especially in regards to family. Okay. Family is very high on the list here. Mercury has moved into Sagittarius, which kind of frees us up a little bit now. Mercury was in Scorpio. So for a lot of us, we just felt like we couldn't talk. We had all this stuff going on inside and, we just weren't able to express it. Well, now that Mercury's moved into Sagittarius, we're starting to want to express ourselves. Now, because Mercury is conjunct Saturn in Sagittarius, we have Saturn kind of really asking us, okay, you want to just go out there and share your beliefs and tell everybody what you believe? Well, I hope you have looked at the facts. I hope you've done your research. Saturn's all about making sure you know what you believe, why you believe it. It's really taking us deeper into our belief systems and asking us, why do we believe what we believe? You have to remember something. When we look at Jupiter, which rules Sagittarius and is co-ruler to Pisces, Neptune and Jupiter, it's an ancient co-ruler. Jupiter, especially in Pisces, has the ability to create almost a fanaticism, a fanatic following. It's kind of like put all your reasoning aside and you're just caught up in this movement. You don't even know why. It's just calling you. It's just overwhelming you and you're in it. And so that's not uncommon, especially as Neptune has been retrograde in Pisces. Retrograde can bring up the shadowy side of things. It has us look deeper into things, behind the scene things. It can bring up hidden issues, hidden fears. Pisces, we know, get a rap for wearing the rose-colored glasses. And I really believe it's a little more to that. Having a Pisces rising and a moon in Pisces, I feel like I can talk about it. And that is that it's seeing the bigger picture in our relationships. It's seeing the possibilities. And often we see the truth, but we're willing to overlook it for the bigger picture that's, by loving with this unconditional love, that maybe it would be enough to help somebody rise above or help ourselves rise above. Often Pisces don't love themselves as much as they love other people. They have a harder time seeing it in themselves, but they believe for other people. The problem is we have been in a lot of years of conditioning, especially for those of us who've come through the movement of the church. And we've, really been taught that, turn the other cheek, give your shirt off your back, forgive, 70 times 7. And unfortunately, those great qualities in our world today have now become extremely exploited. And many people are coming to me and they're saying, I'm just really struggling having my own voice, being successful. There's always somebody kind of trying to take me down that doesn't want to see me happy, right? And for the empath, who often gets put under the category of a caretaker, and astrologically we can see that in the water signs, okay? We see the Scorpio as the nurse, we see the Cancer as the doctor, and we see the Pisces as the healer. So, you may not be a water sign, you may not have your sun sign in water, but look at your chart. Where's your rising? Where's your moon? Where's Venus, Mars, Mercury, North Node? Where's the water in your chart? Because you may have a real strong heart for caretaking, which is a beautiful thing. But unfortunately, because of the fact that Pluto is in Capricorn, okay, I'm talking about what's happening right now and going direct, Capricorn really represents structure and the ways, the rules of which we live. So if you've always tried to live by these standards and now you're being exploited, or now they're not working, or now you're getting pissed off, like, you know what? I'm tired of this. I'm tired of being put down. I'm tired of feeling like, I can't be all of me because there's going to be people criticizing you. That's happening right now because the world is very insecure. And because Neptune has been in Pisces, it's bringing out creative people. And creative people you can't control. And, when we get into toxic relationships, that's when somebody else is living in the shadowy side of their energy. Often those people will be threatened by creatively free people because they may not have it, or they may not know how to access it, or maybe they've not even done the work for it. A lot of people don't realize that people who are out here like this, or in your everyday life, and you're working on spiritual things, and you're looking at yourself, and you're studying, and you're working on things, that's a lot of hard work to look at yourself and allow yourself to feel things, go through things, and come out the other side victorious. And there's a lot of people out there that in our relationships right now that we're having this kind of tug of war with. Now remember, Jupiter is in Libra. So this whole entire year is about balancing out the scales in your relationships, in your life. If you've been in a situation where, you know, you've lost your identity, you've lost yourself, you've dimmed your light because you don't want the backlash or the conflict in relationships of what it causes, we have to identify that now. We have to look at that. Because ultimately, when I look at a chart, I'm looking at, you know, really a soul, a being that was put here on earth to do something amazing, given all the tools necessary to do something incredible. And at the end of your life, you're going to be standing there alone. Alone. You know, even if you have people around you, you're alone in that moment, right? We all are going to have to face that moment someday. And we're going to have to look at, you know, did we live to our fullest potential? Did we do everything we wanted to do? Did we become what we really wanted to become? Did we let people stop us? Did we put our life aside for everybody else? And in the end, you know, where are we sitting? Where are we standing? We have to put ourselves on the list at the top here. Every single person has to begin to take responsibility for their own identity. Now, let's talk identity. Uranus has been in Aries. Aries is the first house. It's all about who are you, identity. Aries is also extremely competitive. So when we look at when Uranus came into Aries, there's been this, you know, energy of fighting for who we are and people stealing identities and resenting other people for trying to have an identity, because that's the combative energy of Aries, fighting to who gets to the top. Now, Uranus has been retrograde in Aries, okay, along with Neptune in Pisces, and will be moving direct right about Christmas. Okay, so boom, boom, boom now. We've all been behind the scenes, really doing self-searching, really looking at these things. Jupiter has us looking at our relationships. Maybe you're seeing things for the first time, or you're not willing to put up with things for the first time. Do not underestimate the Libra, okay? You know, when I think of the Libra, especially like the woman Libra, but you know, you as men out there can kind of put yourself in the mix here. As remember the movie or the show Bewitched with Samantha, and she was the witch, and she had all these powers, but she wanted to marry the mortal man, Darren, right? So she had to be willing to give up who she was, her powers, her, and you know, this ability that she had to be with him. But he was always struggling, remember, at work and different things. And so she's like this little homemaker at home, and you know, she's helping out with her, you know, helping him, helping others, using her gift for good. But she was very powerful in her life because she knew who she was and she knew how to use the powers given to her. And Libra has this amazing ability to have insight into relationships that no other sign does. They are very psychic in that way, okay? Intuitive in that way. But at the same time, you know, a Libra will take a lot. You can push them for a really, really long time. But there comes a point in time when the Libra will just, you know, come in and flip the tables and let everything fall where it's going to fall. And it rebalances the scales, good, bad, or indifferent. They don't care. Let's just throw it up and start over. They get fed up with, you know, this constant state of trying to keep everybody else okay and in harmony. So when Jupiter comes in here, He's not, pussyfooting around. He's coming in flipping tables in relationships, in families, and lives. All this toxic energy. We need a clean house. We need to beautify. Okay, we need to bring in new energy. Have you ever gone out and, gone somewhere and found like a really neat art piece, something beautiful, a rock, a stone, maybe one of those neat, salt rocks, you go out and you purchase this new beautiful artistic piece. It has to be artistic because it just carries with it a very artistic vibe. Somebody put a lot of work into that. And you bring it into your home and you put it, on the mantle. And all of a sudden your whole home, it's like, oh my gosh, I've got to recreate everything else because this is so beautiful that I want everything else to blend with it. You're bringing in a new, fresh energy. And that's what I'm talking about here. We're all trying to bring in and open the door for new, fresh energy. Jupiter in Virgo and the North Node in Virgo has been all about clearing out the boxes, cleaning out the drawers. Now, Libra is all about bringing in this new, fresh energy that we can all feel like we have this safe place of harmony. And we're having to face some things in our lives and our relationships, again, that we haven't had to face. Are you, have you been in a position that you have looked at the patterns of your life and say, I've always put myself down. I've always let other people control me. I'm afraid to do what I want to do because I don't want to hear all the negative talk, whatever it is. I mean, these are real issues because people are coming to me and I deal with these issues. Totally. And it's being able to know who you are. With Uranus and Aries retrograde, we've all been trying to fight for who we are behind the scenes, within our own heads, within our own hearts. No, I'm not going to take that. No, I'm not going to do that. No, I am who I am. No. And everybody's had a voice. And that's why you do see a lot of aggression out there the last few weeks. These energies are very intense. You're either at a place where you're trying to seek a high vibration of these energies so that you can do good in what you say, in your deeds, in your life, that you can create a wake of incredible energy that people can be inspired by. And that's where our fulfillment is fulfilling the calling we were given at birth. And if you're looking to the left, looking to the right, wanting validation from others, okay, I know this is kind of some deep topics, but this is the deep stuff coming up. If you're looking for validation, you're always going to be controlled because people aren't going to give you that validation just to screw with you. Okay, they're not going to give it to you because they don't have it within themselves. You have to find that validation within yourself. You have to do the work necessary that it takes, whatever that is. The other thing that's happening, we still have Lilith in Scorpio. When we see Lilith, we look at what is the shadowy, darker side energy going on behind the scenes. In Scorpio, it's all about power plays, controls, manipulations, deceit. So a lot of our relationships have taken on this very plutonic energy because Scorpio is bringing it out. Lilith is bringing it out in Scorpio. Neptune is helping us see things we don't want to see, that we have to look at, the things we've maybe been overlooking. Unfortunately, it's no longer about what's possible. It's about what is. Facing the truth of what is. And when you're dealing with relationships and you've tried to fix something and you tried to, how many ways have you tried to make that relationship and hang on to it and make it okay? It's like taking old wine and putting it in new wineskin. It's not going to work. And the hardest part for us, if you are an empath or you are a compassionate person or you are a deep feeling person, is letting go and being able to accept what is. that you can't fix it, you can't control it, you can't make it better, that some things in life are just what they are, and it's not our job to make it okay. We can't do it. Now, I'm talking to a Virgo here. So this is my life story. And, you know, I'm a fixer. I want to fix. And I'm a server, and I like to serve. But at the end of the day, you know, I have to be true to who I am. I have a North Node in Aries, which means I have to lead. I have to be able to, you know, fulfill my destiny. And I can't lead if I'm looking for validation from everybody else. They're going to control me. So these are the things I'm working on, and this is astrologically what's coming up. There's another interesting thing going on right now. I just thought I'd point out that Ceres is an asteroid, and it is also in Aries conjunct Uranus at 21 degrees. It's retrograde as well. And when Ceres has a shadowy side. And here's again where you see very dysfunctional, toxic relationships, identity theft, identity issues, people who, you know, are feeling, you know, panicky about who they are. They don't know who they are. So, you know, this toxicity comes out and putting others down in the issues of identity. Okay, and the issues of who you are and the issues of what your calling in life is. People are really feeling the need for it, but Ceres can bring out, well, it brings out the narcissistic energy, the bipolar energy. It brings out the personality disorders, okay, however you want to look at those. If you do study astrology, you do know that we do see these things in the chart. And when Ceres is conjunct an area in our chart, if we're not careful, Ceres can create a flavor of really more of a shadowy side to that energy, wanting to draw us to the darker side of it. Okay, at the same time, Ceres conjunct a chart can help us see the dark side. Maybe we've even lived through the dark side, and now we can stand up and actually talk about it and help others, okay? So we're never here to stay in one place, but until we're willing to identify Uranus and Aries, identify the truth, accept the truth as it is, and realize it's not up to you to carry the whole world on your shoulders. It's not your job. Your job is just to be the star of your own little world. Shine bright. Shine with confidence. Do what you know you're called to do. And do it powerfully. And learn what you have to learn in life. Spend your energy investing in you. Because if you can invest in you, it's the greatest investment of all. Because that will then overflow out to your family, your children, your friends, other people. But if you're drained, okay, Neptune and Pisces is such a spiritual energy. You Pisces out there know that we have to recharge to give out. That spiritual connection has to flow. And if we're giving everything out, we can fall into deep exhaustion. Okay, and this is for all of you. Look at where you have Pisces in your chart. Deep exhaustion, depression, you know, isolation, wanting to be a recluse. Those are all Pisces traits. Not caring, escaping. Right? These are all issues on the table right now that people are really struggling with. So what I'm trying to do is come in here and say, look, all these things you've been going through, you're not crazy. They've been coming up. We've been seeing it play out on the front stage of our world. The same dynamics that are going on. I've talked about that in some of my other videos in our personal lives. You know, because Uranus and Aries, it's drawing out a lot of lawsuits and issues right now. Many of you guys are going to court, Jupiter and Libra, fighting for children, fighting for justice, fighting for yourself. And in the end of the day, the scales are going to be balanced. So when we give our energy out, just throwing it out there, you know, you're giving your pearls, throwing your pearls before swine. You know, that's energy gone and wasted. And it takes from you. So if you're getting in, you know, fights on the internet and you're all those things, I mean, you know, if you have a voice, have a voice. But if you're just getting caught up in that and wasting your energy, you're going to be wiped out. Okay, you're going to be wiped out right now. Now's the time for all of us to rein in our energy, okay? Start to really get a plan about how to fulfill what's the dreams that are in our heart, because Neptune and Pisces is all about our dreams. Many of you have seen what your potential future looks like. I've seen it. But I have to do what it takes to get there. It can pass me by just like it can pass us all by. It can be that illusion. And interesting, we have Mars in Aquarius. I'll just say a few more things. I don't want this to get too long, but because I come out and do a little more teaching and in-depth stuff, my videos are a little longer. It's hard to, you know, when you're really talking about astrology, get it in a real tight nutshell, but try to give it some justice here. Mars being in Aquarius, this is amazing for us because this is all about knowing what happens before what happens. The Aquarius has the ability to set the trends, to know what's going to happen and get ideas often, you know, years before they come out. The hardest part for the Aquarius is they have all these brilliant ideas. And if they don't do something with it, you know, 6 months later, somebody else has come out with it. You're like, damn it, I had that idea. So this is a time where tons of downloads are coming in, ideas for your future, which way you can go, what you can do. If you've been on a really, you know, intense creative path and you know, like, this is exactly what I want to do, and you've been working for it, and then all of a sudden you feel like, wait a minute, I want to go this way. This is great. I can still do it. But like this whole other door opens up for you that totally blows you away. You have no anticipation for it. That's Uranus. That's Uranus and Aries changing. You've been being prepared. So if there's one of those little rabbit hole ideas, you know, you might want to check it out and see if, you know, there's a way that, you know, you might have been going this way, but now another door is opening that you would never anticipate it. Okay, so be open. If you're not strategic, you got to remember Aries is the warrior. It sets a game plan, a war plan. Do you have a war plan? And that includes keeping toxic relationships out of your life. If you're in a relationship and every time you walk away, you feel worse than better, you need to take a look at that. And you need to begin to protect yourself. And you need to begin to learn how to communicate in a way that you're not giving away your energy and that you're reining it in right now. This is the key, because we're moving into Sagittarius, and then we'll be in Capricorn. And Capricorn, Sagittarius, Capricorn is all about really knowing what your beliefs are and now doing something with it, building a foundation. Venus is in Capricorn right now, you guys. And don't forget, Capricorn's the badass of the zodiac. And Capricorn's all about building a new foundation. Venus, balancing things out, okay, bringing in new ways to make money in Capricorn, new ideas, Mars in Aquarius, Mercury in Sagittarius, having a voice, okay? Take advantage, take advantage. The doors are going to start to open now. We've been through the washing machine now. We've been through the vortex. We're coming out on the other side. We have to do our part. We can no longer sit around and be mad, blame other people, you know, blame the world. You know what? Each person that lives to their fullest potential creates the world that we want. Do the things that you're passionate about. Be a participant in that. You know, we're really being called to those things now. So all that being said, you guys, I hope this was helpful. I am taking readings right now. I also want to let you guys know, I am going to be starting a astrology course library where I'm teaching classes through video. And I'm going to be, for those of you who are interested in taking my class is going to be actually using and picking charts from those of you who are participating in following these videos. I will be picking your charts to do astrological studies on and teach astrology. I have so many people asking me, and I love to teach astrology. So I'm also looking at opening online classes, but I kind of need to know, how many people would be interested so that I could really design the best format for this. So if you're interested in taking my classes and knowing more about them, please email me and just leave me your name and say hi at crystallyn68@gmail.com. You can find that below. And if you're ready for that beginning of the year reading to get your 2017 year started right, come in with a reading with me. Or I also do transit video, 15-minute audio video where I answer your specific questions. Also great for gifts, you guys. So that supports this channel. That's how I keep these videos going, is through you guys coming in and having readings with me. I also have natal chart reports. So anything you can do just to help support this channel and allow me to give back to you, it would be awesome. All right, you guys, have a great day. And if you have any questions, please leave them below. And visit me at cowgirlastrologer.com. Thanks.